Salutations everyone, this is What Mattered. Gangnam Style surpassed 2 billion views on YouTube this week. Which one's gonna be next? Maybe this one. Doug Liman has revealed that his upcoming Splinter Cell movie is going to be starring a younger version of Sam Fisher. Who's going to be playing this young version of Sam Fisher? None other than Tom Hardy, who is also helping him work on the script. He says that certain tropes of the video game will be included into the movie, but some will miss out. Who knows if we're going to have the trifocal goggles that are, very unique to the franchise that make no sense scientifically whatsoever. But he says that certain things are going to make it, certain things aren't, and it's going to be a young Sam Fisher, which I really don't have a problem with if this movie, doesn't do some of the things that are part of the game, because the Splinter Cell franchise is so widespread in the different types of storylines that they've tackled. I think that they can go in many different directions, but as long as it works. I don't mind if there's no three-goggled lens or, certain things that Splinter Cell is famous for. As long as it's a good movie, I think that's all that really matters. Mortal Kombat X was announced this weekend with a trailer that features both gameplay and cinematic in a blended type of way. It looks really beautiful. A lot of people are really skeptical about if this is what the actual game is going to look like, since we've been promised this type of good-looking gameplay for the past decade or so, and no one's really delivered. But this, if it looks anywhere near as good as this is going to be, a step forward into what producers can develop for the current generations of consoles, which, the power of them really hasn't been tapped into yet, and it won't be for a long time. Just take a look at, early PlayStation 2 games and the late PlayStation 2 games, or the early PS3 games and the late PlayStation 3 games, vastly different on the same system. So hopefully this will be a step forward in gameplay, graphics, and mechanics, and hopefully the game actually looks this good, because it looks pretty awesome, and NetherRealm hasn't really disappointed us in a while. People can keep on saying that Nintendo is dead, but that didn't stop 1.8 million copies of Mario Kart 8 being sold in the first 3 days on the Wii U. With just over 5 million Wii U consoles sold, that's a pretty huge portion of all console owners buying this game, which really isn't that big of a surprise. They haven't had a lot of huge titles since the launch of the Wii U, and this is a big, long-standing, popular franchise that always does well. The Double Dash is my personal favorite, but people really like the game. It's been heavily reviewed in all the websites and all the magazines to say that this is great, it's innovative, it's all the great things that we like about Mario Kart, including a lot of great new things and mechanics, some old tracks, some good new tracks, some different driving mechanics, different, types of vehicles that you can use in the game, which, took them long enough. They had some variety in the past couple games, but nothing really as drastic as this. People have been playing this game so much and like it so much that they've been even being able to figure out some exploits in this game, like this thing called fire hopping, which just gives you a slight edge when boosting. It's crazy how dedicated people can be to games this quickly. But everyone loves it, and it's selling like crazy, regardless of how many Wii U's are out there. And, of course, it's boosting the sales of the Wii U console. I think I said in the UK alone that the Wii U sales jumped 666%. So, either the devil lives in the UK, or people really like their Mario Karts. And I think I would like to side with the latter. In some finally good news for Uncharted 4, we finally have some people who aren't leaving the Naughty Dog ship and are heading straight forward to the Uncharted franchise. And those are the directors of The Last of Us. They had previously worked on the Uncharted series before, but never in this big of a capacity. They're going to be leading up the team, which is fantastic news. Ever since Amy Hennig left, they had concept artists leave, and it just seemed like a large looming cloud was drifting over Naughty Dog. But with the success of Last of Us, as well as its relaunch coming up on the current gen system on PlayStation 4, It looks like things are going to be pretty good for Uncharted 4. Maybe we'll be seeing something from E3. That's kind of really up at the air at this point on, if they might get us a release date or at least maybe a title of the game, since it hasn't really officially been announced yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, good news. And a lot of news this week in delays. First off, Arkham Knight has been delayed to 2015. When in 2015? We don't know yet, but it's not coming out this year, and it's going to be coming out next year. That's all we know so far. We've been hit with a lot of delays recently, both in video games and films, which I'll get into a little bit. But overall, I'm not really worried about this because we've seen a lot of games that have been pushed out way too early. They come out with huge promises and they aren't able to deliver because they try to do too much in too little of a time. We saw, the foibles that have happened with Battlefield 4, which just got a new update this week to help with lag and other issues that have been plaguing the game across all platforms. And Grand Theft Auto 5, which hasn't released on half of the promises that they've made, and that game's been out for even longer than Battlefield has, and these people still don't have their heists. So I think this is a good thing when a game like this, or, like Tom Clancy The Division, when it's so broad in scope and wants to do so many great things, especially on a new console that the developers are still getting used to, the processing power and what they can do with that GPU. I think this is good news, that we won't get a rushed out product and that they can take their time and give us the experience that they had originally intended. And in much more surprising and somewhat disturbing news, Jupiter Ascending is being delayed 7 months. It was supposed to come out like 5 weeks from now, and just a few days ago they said, nope, February next year. That is a pretty big push. I don't think we haven't seen a push this big since the G.I. Joe, Retaliation film, but that had different reasons behind, similar reasons, but there was complicated things. I don't want to get into it, but they said that the computer graphics that they need to put into this film just aren't going to be ready, which is very surprising that this type of thing has happened. It's a very complicated the way that these companies work when it comes to producing CGI. And from what I've known from people that work in such fields, this is a really difficult pill to swallow because this type of thing would have been done much further ahead of time. And it's really surprising because they really piece out their CGI sequences that they need to make for certain movie projects. And if something needs to come out later, that'll be way in the back burner. And if something comes out pretty soon, then that's what they're working on. So it makes me really worried about what is happening to Jupiter Ascending. It's done by the Wachowski siblings. It's coming out in the time slot that the Lego movie had this year. So who knows if there are other reasons behind it, but that's their excuse that they're giving now. So, that's just one more movie taken off of this year, and we have to wait for next year. And hopefully it's still a good film, and this isn't a cause for worry, but I think it might be. The Doctor Strange movie has finally been announced. There's going to be a Doctor Strange film handled by the Disney Marvel Studios. They have a director lined up in Scott Derrickson, who has done pretty much exclusively horror movies. He did Exorcism of Emily Rose, I think one of those shitty exorcism movies. He did Sinister, which had pretty good reviews. I saw the last 20 or 30 minutes of that movie, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. But he's done pretty much exclusively horror. The Day the Earth Stood Still is probably like the least horror film that he's worked on. But whatever. It's Doctor Strange. I'm glad that he's finally getting his own film. They've announced that he lives in the Marvel Universe in the Captain America Winter Soldier little nod, and I'm really looking forward to it. We have no idea on who's going to be playing Doctor Strange, but if you guys were watching television this week, there was a certain celebrity sporting some gray hair on the sides, Doctor Strange facial hair and goatee, and talked about his friend Tony Stark. So I think Stephen Colbert is going to be our Doctor Strange. You heard it here first, guys. Breaking news all the time. Rooster Teeth has announced that they're making their first feature-length film, and they're launching an Indiegogo campaign to help fund the film, which of course I assume by the time you're watching this has been far surpassed, because right now it might be done by the end of me filming this, because right now it's at $445,000. The end goal is $600,000. A lot of the top perks have been claimed, but there's still plenty of awesome, cool stuff at really good value being offered to Indiegogo supporters. So click the link in the description to support these guys. They make nothing but gold, having done Red vs. Blue for 11 years, plus going on 12 right now, and with Ruby, and with Achievement Hunter, and absolutely everything that they've done just been absolutely amazing. All the RT shorts, everything that they've done is just fantastic. So I think it's a safe bet to put your money back in these guys. They're going to follow through with this because they have a track record that really no one else can surpass. And which is the comedic value of what that team can bring is just astronomical. So definitely go support these guys. And lastly, I have a couple of movie reviews for you guys. We had The Fault in Our Stars and The Edge of Tomorrow drop this weekend. And I saw The Fault in Our Stars and The Edge of Tomorrow. I saw the Night Before Our Stars event a couple days ago. And if you want to have my full review of the movie, you can click right here. That'll bring you to my full review of The Fault in Our Stars. Big fan of the book. I'm a nerd fighter, so it's pretty much the type of opinion you would want from this type of movie, and it was fantastic. One of the best movies of the year, easily so far. And through the power of editing, I just saw The Edge of Tomorrow, movie based off of the Japanese light novel All You Need Is Kill, starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Now, I didn't read the light novel, which is disappointing, I know, but I thought that the movie was pretty good. Some people will have the reservations against Tom Cruise because he's a religious psychopathic nutjob. Those two things follow axiomatically. But you can't deny that he can still make good movies. When you look at him on screen, you don't think that this guy thinks that dead alien ghosts reside in his body. That's not something that really crosses your mind. He still can play a good lead role and make a good film, and this is another one of those cases. Emily Blunt is also really good. The action was pretty good. I thought that the story was going to drive this movie home, but the story was pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be, and what the trailer set it up to be. But it's really the journey that I thought was the best part of the film, getting from point A to point B in the film, where this guy just relives the same day over and over again, Groundhog Day style. And I thought it was really good. The action wasn't too heavy in that it was a central theme that the story had to lean on in order to be entertaining. I didn't think it was like that much at all, even though the action was pretty decent and, wasn't going through all the normal tropes of an alien invasion movie. Even the aliens were, kind of different. They were kind of a mix between, like, the squid drones from The Matrix and the Lambent from Gears of War. At least I thought. And I think this is a good sign to come for the Splinter Cell movie, because this is the same guy who's going to be heading the Splinter Cell film. I don't think he's going to rely on action, and he's going to stick to a good plot to tell a good story, and that's the best kind of movie that you can really make in these sort of cases. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys this week. Hope you enjoyed. All the links to the stories that I mentioned will be in the doobly-doo, and I will hope to see you guys next time.